All right, let's get some details in here so it doesn't look like such a creepy alien. So let's go up to our eyes here. We are gonna add, first things first, we're gonna add another line inside our football to make like an eyelid. Just like that, from one corner to the other. And we'll do the same thing over here. Okay? Now, you can add eyelashes and things like that if you would like, but we are gonna trace over our lines with permanent marker, and sometimes trying to get lots of details with the permanent marker is kind of hard. So I would recommend leaving off the eyelashes for now. You can come back to that. Just because when you trace them, they might kind of blob together. So as long as you get an eyelid into your football, it's gonna look like a real eye. Next thing we need to do is add our iris. The iris is the circle that's usually is like the colored part of your eye. And it is a circle, but part of it is gonna be covered by this eyelid and this bottom eyelid. So to do that, you're gonna draw from here, right on this eyelid, kind of a curve down, and then we'll do another one the other way over here. Okay, so we're making a circle sort of, but you just can't see the whole circle because part of it is behind the eyelids. Okay, so your iris, what it ends up looking like is that your iris is touching this eyelid and touching this eyelid, and a little bit of it is behind. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. Curved lines to connect the eyelids. All right. And then last thing on the eye, we're gonna add the pupil. So that's the little black circle in the middle of your eye. That's the part that takes in all the light. And this is also shows what direction your person is looking. So if you want your person looking up this way, you could put your pupils up here, kind of up in the upper right corner of your iris. If you want your person looking down, you could put it down here. Okay, up to you. Now that looks super weird because I've got one eye looking that way and one eye looking that way. If you want your drawing to look like that, you totally can, or you can erase and have them go the same direction. That is totally up to you. Kind of funny having them go opposite directions. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and it is a black pupil, so if you want to fill it in, you can. That's totally up to you. Okay, so I've kind of got a person looking sort of up that direction a little bit. All right. You know, you could have your pupils looking one here and one here, so they're looking in like cross-eyed if you want. That'd be funny. Totally up to you. You can really change the look of a face by where you put the pupils inside your iris. Also, pupils change shape. They get bigger and smaller depending on how much light there is. So when you are in the dark, your pupils get really big because, like I said, they take in the light, and so they are trying to get really big so they can get as much light as there is. So when it's dark, there's not a whole lot of light. So they're trying hard to get as much light as they can. When it's bright out, they get a little overwhelmed and they get really tiny. They shrink down to a smaller size. So your pupils can be whatever size you decide. I'm gonna make mine a little bit bigger. It's like my person's kind of in the dark here. Those pupils are working hard to find some light. Okay, let's move down to the nose. So far we have this little center part of our nose. We need to add some nostrils. So all you have to do is, starting at the top of your little U shape, you're gonna do another smaller U shape, except for it's upside down. So like this. And on both sides. Okay, and that gives you a little bit of a nostril. Next thing, let's do the outside of our nostrils. So you're gonna start down here and come up and around, and that gives you the outside. So it's kind of like parentheses here. Okay. Now, your nostrils, like my nostrils are kind of, these little U shapes are a little bit big, they're a little bit wide, so that makes a wide nose. If you want your nose to be smaller, all you have to do is just make this a little bit smaller, and this will be a little bit closer. Okay, so noses are tough, so they take a lot of practice. So experiment a little bit. That's why we're drawing with pencil. If you have an eraser handy, there we go. See, now I have a narrower nose. So totally up to you. If you want to grab a mirror and look at your own face while you're drawing, if you're drawing yourself, or you could, if you're drawing someone else, you could grab a picture and kind of go off of what you see to help you decide how wide and how big some of your features are. Okay? Also noses usually, so they connect up here. So there's usually kind of a line here to draw like the bridge of your nose. You could do it like that. It doesn't need to connect to your nostrils. It can just be two lines on the side like that. And they connect kind of right close to this inner point of your eyeballs there. Okay, and in a little bit we'll add some eyebrows up here, and they are kind of straight up from those nose lines. Like about there is where they'll start. Okay, but we'll come back to that. Let's check out our lips. So this line here, like I said, was our center lip, the center of our lips, so the bottom of our top lip here. So what we need to do next is above this, do a little kind of a V shape. That's going to be the center of our top lip. Then starting here, you're just going to extend these lines out, and they need to come out a little bit farther than your nose. So here's my nostrils. Okay, and now since I changed my nose, it's kind of a skinny one. So here's my guidelines down from the nose. This lip line needs to go out further than the nose. Okay, and you can kind of experiment with this as well if you want that lip to kind of curl up a little bit on the edges to give you a little bit of a smile. You can do that. Now let's finish this top lip. We're going to connect this little V down, and we've got a top lip. Okay, again, every person's face is different, so some people have thinner lips or fuller lips. So take a look at either yourself or the person you're drawing and decide what their lip looks like, and you can change that. You can lower this V down a little bit if it needs to be thinner, or you can make it higher if it needs to be thicker. For the bottom lip, we're gonna just put a little line down here. Again, if their lip is really thin, your line might be right there. If it's thicker, maybe lower, okay? Put a line for the center of their lower lip, and then we just connect it up, okay? And the bottom lip hits a little bit further in from the outside of this. So it's not gonna go all the way out to this corner. It's gonna hit the line a little bit in, okay? So my top lip is a little bit wider than the bottom. But again, everybody's face is different, so you can experiment a little bit with that. But that is the basics of drawing lips. Okay, let's move back up here, get this alien some eyebrows so they look slightly less alien. Again, eyebrows are gonna start kind of straight up from the nose, right around the area of this inside corner of the eye. So eyebrows come in lots of shapes. You can experiment with this. Generally, they're kind of rounded here, give a little arch, and then come down. Now, eyebrows really change the look of a face. So you can experiment with those a little bit. Maybe you want them to be a little bit more square in the middle or more rounded. Play around with that and see how it changes the look. Maybe they're thicker or thinner. Totally up to you. Okay? All right, this thing needs some hair. Of course, we know hair comes in lots of different shapes and sizes and colors and textures. So when you add your hair, first, let's try for a hairline. So you might have a hairline that's kind of straight across, okay, possibly, and then comes down like this. You might have, some people have hairlines that kind of have a little peak in the middle. It's called a widow's peak. Okay. Some people have bangs, so maybe your hair comes all the way down here if you have bangs. Maybe it swoops across. Okay, so everybody's hair is different, so get you a hairline in there. Mine kind of swoops and is kind of curly, so I'm gonna do some kind of lumpy shapes here. And I have a part on this side, so I'm gonna swoop over here. You can draw a little bit of hair that comes sort of over your ears if yours does. But get you a hairline in there. Again, experiment, erase. We're learning here, so it's gonna take a little bit of trial and error. And then that looks kind of silly because I'm kind of bald on top. But maybe your hair is spiky, maybe you have really short hair and it's pretty much just that. If that's what the hair looks like of the person you're drawing, cool, go for it. Maybe it's really big and fluffy. Is it curly? Is it straight? Think about all those things, okay? That's generally what my hair looks like. We're gonna trace over these lines with black marker. So, and again, we aren't drawing a super perfect realistic face, so you can make the hair look kind of comic book or superhero-esque, kind of cartoon style. It doesn't have to be realistic. But get you some lines in there to show the hair.